This meeting is being recorded.
What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 60, guys, and we are packed in today talking starting pitcher from 25 to number 1. Now, we're going to do this as an aggregate because if I jumped around to everybody's number, it would be ridiculous. So what we did is we all made lists 25 to 1, and I put those numbers together, averaged it out amongst the four of us. I've got 32 dudes that we're going to talk about tonight. And with us this evening, first from Manchester, New Jersey, rocking the Mike Trout jersey, Frank Bucco. Welcome to It's the Bigs Podcast.
Awesome. I am so happy to be here, and I love everybody but you, Joe.
Well, I love you regardless of whether you love me or not, buddy. With us as well from Denver, Colorado, I love this guy like a brother, Jason Ashby. How are we this evening, my friend?
Doing well, Joe. Dude, I'm stoked. This is gonna be a fun show. I'm happy to be here and ready to get going. Let's talk starting pitching.
Let's do this. Mike Haber from Hillsdale, New Jersey is with us as well. Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm great. I love everyone equally. And I'm so excited to talk pitchers. 25 to 1
moment.
So let's dive right into this thing. And I want to start right off the rip here with somebody that I had outside of the top 75. Frank had outside of the top 75. I didn't even ask Mike Haber at that point because it wasn't worth it. Jason Ashby has Freddie Peralta at 24. I'm going to give you 2 minutes here to defend this.
I love this kid. Look, he was so good in 2021. He got hurt last year, but so his numbers aren't pretty, but his expected ERA was still 2.7 last year. I like this kid. He's young. He's 27. What am I missing? What's wrong with Freddie Peralta?
He's got to be on the field, man. He's got to be there. I will admit we do have a track record of the Brewers bringing kids along and being good. Like Woodruff and Burns are going to be two of the dudes we talk about tonight. But other than those two, they really haven't done a good job here. Like your cousin Aaron is not doing all that well, sir.
No, he didn't even sniff my list. But he threw 145 innings in 2021. He has pitched, and those were really good innings. He was an all-star. So yes, he needs to be on the field. I agree, but I think he needs to be on this list somewhere.
He's an interesting case. Mike Haber, where are you on him?
He's in my veterans on the bubble rankings.
Somewhere after 50, but top 75, perhaps.
Yeah, he is in my top 75, but definitely outside the 50.
Jason's already talked him into my top 75 just by this conversation. Frank, are you with me on that at least?
I would say so. Yeah. He's in the top 75 somewhere.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Jason, you've given us at least that much. I will give you this much. I will research the child. Okay.
I'll see you guys next time.
All right, Jason's gonna tap out early.
Bye, Jason.
All right, tapping out early, and I'm kicking this one off with a bang. We did talk about this guy, Mike Haber. You and I did on the 50 through 26 episode. We're going to talk about Tyler Glasnow here. Jason, you're the low man at 38. Frankie got him at 30, and Mike, you're the high one at 19. We, as an aggregate, show him outside of the top 25, but I did want to at least talk about him here. So, Mike, one more time for the people at home, why you love this guy so hard?
He's still young. We kind of compared him to Verlander last time in that, he came back from Tommy John. He pitched last year. They're very important innings because it showed us that even though it was 11 innings, it was important because it showed us that he can still throw. And so he reminded us of Verlander, but he's 10 years younger than Verlander. So there is no reason why this kid pitching in Tampa Bay cannot produce ace-like numbers. We saw what he did before he got hurt. He was lights out. Yes, Jason.
Jason's going to tell you exactly how many innings that was.
Talk about being on the field. This guy has never even sniffed 145 innings in a season. And he's 2 years older than Freddie Peralta.
Wow.
The man is spitting facts, coming with fire early.
His
No.
season high in innings is 111 in 2018 when he pitched to a 4.27 ERA in 11 with 11 starts. No. Like, give me
But
Freddie
wait,
Peralta.
Jason has
but wait a
Glasnow
minute.
14 spots lower. Frank, go.
But wait a minute. He also pitches on a team that doesn't allow their starters to go more than 4 innings at a time.
You talking about Glasnow?
Yes.
That's not true
Okay.
with McClanahan.
No, but Kevin Cash is like notorious for that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if you got a guy who's a workhorse, he's going to go, okay, yeah, go 4 innings, and we'll bring in Yarborough, we'll bring in this guy, we'll bring in Kittredge, or whoever's available in that bullpen to eat up 3 innings so that he can get to the back end of his bullpen. I mean,
If
so
they- I mean,
111
here's
innings is a high. I
Mhm.
mean,
Could we
yeah,
see 130
okay.
if he's healthy? I could see 130 if he's healthy. And the way to gain his value in any trade before this $25 million season that I've been talking about and screaming about, the only way to increase his value is to have him on the mound. But you do have the ability to protect him if you continue to do what the Rays have done. So I think spring is a real important test for this kid. We're going to see if he's throwing 6 innings in spring. I think we can then say, all right, he's in for a workload and he starts climbing. Is that fair to say, Jason?
It's fair to say, but I still think that if he's on this list, Peralta's got to be on this list. It's the same cloth.
Okay. I think that's a fair argument. We did touch on Clayton Kershaw both times on the show. He does make it here, 28 overall. I will move past him quickly and get Mike Haber's opinion on the next guy here. Frank, you have him at 29, just outside. Jason and I have him at the same spot in 25. And Mike, you're the low guy on Nestor Cortez at 32?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I trust him. He's great. I like the 30 guys I have ahead of him. I think it's as simple as that. Like, I also just have trouble owning a Yankee ever. So
Okay.
yeah, the fact that he's in my top 50,
35.
35 says something. But yeah, I mean, he's dealing with a small little injury right now, but it's as simple as I like the 31 guys ahead of him just a little better.
Fair enough. Jason, you and I are the high guy on this one, and I do like a lefty in Yankee Stadium, whereas I wouldn't particularly care for a righty. Just remember that I said that in about an hour, okay?
Honestly, like at one point I had him
probably
much lower down, and I thought I was going to get lynched for even just having him as low as 25. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Listen, I'm saying I like him better than Dylan Cease. More on that to come later on. Let's move on to the next guy that we're going to talk about. I am the highest one on this. Now, Mike, he made your top 30, barely. Jason, you have him at 23. Frank at 27. Guys, I'm lower than you think I am. I'm at 21 on Christian Javier. 148 innings. He was wonderful in the playoffs. We want to talk about whether or not it was a full workload season, Mike Haber. I don't want to hear about the 10 innings versus Nestor Cortez. We actually end up having Christian Javier in the aggregate 3 spots higher at 24 and a quarter, whereas Cortez was 27 and 3/4. So there is a little bit of a discrepancy, and the next 3 guys are really clumped together. But for me, Javier is the best of the next 3 guys we're going to talk about because he's on the best team of the guys we're going to talk about. And man, his stuff is electric. Mike, what is it? Is it just that is it that he had 7 or 8 relief appearances in the beginning of the season?
I don't know if I even want to voice it because you guys are going to rip me apart. So
It's that he's an Astro? Is that what it is?
Sure. Yeah, no, I did some additional research on him. I'm willing to move him up, but I stand by what I said in that I want to see him as a starting pitcher for the entire season. Before he can crack my top 20, I want to see him as a starting pitcher for the whole season.
Okay. I think that's fair. We're cracking, like, we don't have him inside the top 20. Nobody does. only 2 of us have him inside the top 25. So like,
We're all in the same kind of range.
yeah, we're within range. Like I'm the high guy at 21, you're low at 30. That's 9 spots. We all have him in the same area. It's just whether or not you like him more than other guys here. The next guy who actually has the same number at 24 and a quarter, I have 4 spots higher at 17, and I'm the highest guy. Frank, you've got him at 32. I'm interested where Logan Webb is at for everyone else. Mike, you seem to be low on him as well. Let's start there, Mike. What don't you like about this guy versus, say, I don't know, Nestor Cortez?
No, well, I definitely have him higher than Cortez. I have him at 27. I like Logan Webb. I like Logan Webb a lot. I'm not sure he's gonna rack up the wins like some of the guys that I have above him. I don't know what the Giants are going to be this year. I don't know who's providing them with the run support, but as far as Logan Webb as a pitcher goes, I trust him as a number 2 in my rotation any day. So there's nothing I don't like about him. It's just the lack of run support.
Okay. Frank, is that also why you're kind of low on him as well? You're not feeling the offense?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't feel the offense, and I mean,
he's also going to be playing in a tough division, man. He's going to be playing against the Dodgers and Padres often in their ballparks. He does have to go to Colorado. You know, it's a more balanced schedule than before. So I do hear the knock on him. Why did I have him so high? I do like the innings. Like I think he's safe for as many innings.
He also doesn't strike guys out. Like that to me is what I have him at 20, and that's the knock for me on him is that he's great. He's got a low ERA and he pitches innings. He's there. He's a horse. He's a ground ball pitcher, so he doesn't strike anybody out. And for talking fantasy rankings, that's important to me.
It's incredibly interesting that the next guy on our list only hits in at 23 and a quarter because we are so different between where we rank Logan Webb and where we rank this next guy. Luis Castillo, Frank, you have him 14 spots higher. Jason, you have Luis Castillo 10 spots lower. I assume that's because, you know, you have this spurned lovers feeling about this guy particularly. I have him 6 spots lower myself, and Mike, you've got him 5 spots higher at 22. So we're all over the map with this, and we all end up with the same sort of feeling that they're all around this range. Jason, tell us why you don't like Luis Castillo.
Well, first of all, I think what you just described, I think, is the epitome of what this position is this year. We talked about how deep starting pitching is this year, and so you can like a guy more or less depending, irrelevant of his stats, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Yeah, Luis Castillo has put up numbers. He burned me in 2021, so. Fuck that guy.
He's out on that guy. He
also pitched for the Cincinnati Reds, who are really bad.
Yeah, and a full season in Seattle sounds like a good idea. Is that why you're in on him?
Yeah, and since he went, I mean, look at his splits from half a year in Cincinnati and the half a year in Seattle.
Yeah, he was so much better in T-Mobile than he was in Cincinnati, and he was still really good in Cincinnati. Like,
yeah,
I'm just looking this up now in case anybody wonders why we're going this far. 2.86 ERA in Cincinnati, 3.17 in Seattle. Strikeout numbers are about this, actually better in Seattle. Similar record, even with 12 wins because of the bad team he was on initially. But I sort of like this, and like I said, I've got him 5 spots higher. I do like, 5 spots lower. The offense is probably better though, right?
In Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Cincinnati has Will Myers. That's about it.
So is Castillo's offense better than the next guy who clocks in at 22 and a quarter? He's Kevin Gausman, guys. So we do see another range of spots here. I have them back to back, 23 and 24. Frank's close with me, 18 and 20. Jason, you love Kevin Gausman and hate Luis Castillo.
I have him at 19. Yeah, because Kevin Gausman didn't fuck me in 2021.
Are
I'm
you
telling you.
concerned at all with the bad ERA he had in Toronto last year comparatively?
No, I mean he pitched to where he was expected. 335 isn't bad. It's not
Right.
great, but like
Mhm.
if he can at least average out what he did in 2021 and 2022, get somewhere in the middle there, I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
With the strikeouts that he provides, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mike, you see this guy more than we probably do facing him in the AL East now. You appear to be the lowest guy on him.
Yeah, this guy kind of reminds me of a Robbie Ray, where like you're gonna get high strikeout totals, but like you're
Mhm.
also gonna get those days where he walks plenty of guys. And I mean, his whip is indicative of the struggles that he had last year. A 1.24 whip is not what you want from an ace of your staff or someone's going to
Mhm.
anchor your staff.
Mhm.
And that's the thing that scares me, is like giving up all of the hits and the walks that he's giving up. Like you could see that ERA jump up. So
He only gave up 28 walks across 175 innings.
it must have been
1.4
the
per
hits.
nine. Like it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at
Must have been
all.
the hits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, I remember he distinctly had like I think the highest BABIP in baseball last year. So like everything was
364.
Get out of here. That's so high. That ERA
Yeah.
is going to come down. I think I like it. I like this dude. We move to the next guy here, another tick higher, 21 3/4. We all have him right around number 20. Joe Musgrove. I'm actually rocking a Padres shirt, but it's a Chris Paddock jersey. So just got to rock the Padres today. We're going to talk about two of them here. Joe Musgrove. Frank, you're the lowest on him at 26. Do you just not particularly like the Padres, or is it something about Joe Musgrove himself?
No. I mean, I was high on him when he was a Pirate.
Mhm.
But I just feel like, he's one of those guys that, yeah, he's going to take the ball every fifth day and he's going to go out there, but he's not
He's not
he's
your
not
cup of tea.
consistent.
He's just not gonna. Okay.
It's not, in my opinion, there's no consistency.
Okay.
Like you could go out there and throw a no hitter and then you'll go out there and give up 5 runs, like, 5 runs in the first inning. Like, I mean, it's just that's honestly it for me. I think, the guys on my list are, that's the reason he is where he is.
Sure. The last two seasons have been almost identical. 181 innings with an ERA just north and south of 3.
Mhm.
10 and 11 wins. I think he could improve on that, especially with San Diego this year. Maybe individually the starts bounce around a little bit, but it looks like it's more good than bad. Strikeout numbers look really good, over 200 in 2021. That's awful nice. So, yeah, all right. I can understand that if you're concerned that maybe this is the season that he doesn't perform that, and you've watched this guy do that. I'm on board with him maybe taking a step back. The one dude I all of a sudden am like, what is wrong with Zach Gallen, Mr. Jason Ashby, that he's got him at 27? What's wrong with Zach Gallen? Because we like the Diamondbacks, don't we?
We do. His 2021 was just not good, at least on a run prevention standpoint. I don't not like him. I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat as Mike is with Christian Javier. Like, let me see this for another full season. Like, because he did pitch 184 innings last year and he was really good.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I believe it. I want to see it again. But I mean, at 27, I don't hate the guy. I like the guys I have ranked above him better.
Okay. I can understand that. I mean, listen, at this point we're splitting hairs, and when you're asked these questions, you're like, I don't know why I don't like this guy as much as you guys, but I just don't. And we're splitting hairs trying to ascertain this. I like the guy because we all like the Diamondbacks. They're gonna win a lot of games, apparently. Probably at least more than they lose. So this is going to be their ace. I think we have to at least give that credit. I'm not the high guy on this. Mike Haber is. He hasn't been inside the top 15. Mike?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
He went 12-4 last year. Splits home and away are pretty much same exact. Like his batting average against is under 200, like 186. Like this guy he was lights out last year for an entire season. He threw 184 innings. If we're talking about guys that can rack up the wins for us on a team trending upwards, a guy that can rack up strikeouts, a whip under 1, and not giving up any, any hard contact, like I am all in on this guy, 100%.
I have the question that I usually ask somebody in this scenario, and it's so he had a 2.54 ERA last year across 184 innings. Do you think he's going to do better than a 2.54 this year?
I don't think he has to.
Okay.
I think if he pitches
So the answer's probably no, right?
probably no, but if he pitches to a 2.99 or a 3.11, like I'll take
over a 2.99.
Yeah.
Right? So okay, let's say for the sake of argument he's not going to do as well in the ERA department. Is he going to do better than 12 wins?
He could.
I think 12 wins is probably the floor so long as he stays healthy. We think this team's going to do well. They're going to be able to beat up on the Rockies and, the Giants, maybe, I guess. I don't know. That division's kind of good now.
Yeah.
The strikeouts were about a little more than a strikeout an inning, 192. Do you think he strikes out more than that? Probably about the same, right?
Yeah, probably around the same.
Okay, so ERA goes up, win total probably goes up, strikeouts remain the same. Yeah, if you like that guy that much, I don't blame you for putting him in the top 15. Speaking of dudes in the top 15, this is the first one in Frank's top 15 that we're going to talk about here. I have him just outside the top 15 at 16. Frank's got him at 14. Jason, you barely got him inside your top 30 at 29, and Mike, 23. It's Yu Darvish. Frank, I'll give you the floor. You're the high guy on him. You owned him last year. What do you love about him that you don't like about Musgrove?
My SB2. The curse of the SB2 has gone away. Listen, he's a veteran. He's been around a while. I mean, he went 16-8 last year with a 3.10 ERA. I mean, which on that Padres team you should, but you should be doing that. I just think he provides a lot. He's in my opinion, is the epitome of consistency, unless he's pitching against the Dodgers. It gets really bad when he pitches in LA. It's proven. It's historical.
It's 4 straight seasons of 30 starts or more.
I know.
Well, I mean,
Like,
2020 was only 12, but like,
yeah,
it's still 4 straight seasons of 30 straight. This is the model of consistency, regardless of where he is. Granted, 2021 wasn't great. It was a 4.22 ERA with a losing record, but more times than not, he's gonna pay off, and he's gonna throw you at least 160 to upwards of 200 innings. Jason, talk to me about Yu Darvish and why he's not your guy.
It was a 2021, and I had him in 2021, and he's consistency, but like he was hurt. I do feel like there was a bit of a yo-yo with him, like as far as his effectiveness goes. He wasn't good in 2021. He wasn't great in 2019. He wasn't good in 2018.
2018, he was hurt.
So
yeah, he only threw 40 innings there.
Yeah. Like 2017 was okay. 2016 was okay. Like, I don't know. He's 36 now. I don't think he's going to get better than what he was last year. Okay. The Padres signed him to this long contract extension he's gonna be there until he's 40.
Yeah, he's finishing his career with the Padres. Congratulations, Yu Darvish. You're not going anywhere else because you played for like 5 teams now, in case we forgot. Like,
but
Mike Haber, get in here. You're nodding your head a whole lot here, Mike Haber. Where are you on Yu Darvish?
I like the consistency here, and to piggyback off of what we said in our previous show, Joe, like this is a guy you can bank on for 180 innings, given his health, and a high win total and high strikeout total. Like I have to like, I mean, I hear the arguments against him, and in the past I've like shied away from drafting him, but I actually really do like him for the reasons I just mentioned this year. The Padres can win the West, and this could be a guy that, you know, is a huge part of that. So I like
The
him.
Padres should have won the West several years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't have the 111 win Dodgers every year,
Right. Come on.
So, boys, we have covered two guys inside two of the top 15. The next guy we're going to cover is inside of the top 5 for one of us. He's outside my top 25. We're outside my top 25. I have him at 26, Mike Haber. If you remember what that show ended with.
Yes, I have him at 25.
And Mike has him at 25. Jason, you've got him at 16. Frank has him at 4, boys. It's Dylan.
Damn
Cease.
right.
Frank, I'm going to give you the floor. You have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Damn right. Dylan Cease is fantastic. I mean, every year, this guy's ERA total has gone down. I mean, he started 32 games in 21. He started 32 games last year. Yes, he walks a lot of people, but is also striking out people at a ridiculous clip. Like 227 strikeouts over 184 innings. I don't know who wouldn't want to sign up for that. I mean, you know, yeah, does he play on not such a great team? The offense has gotten worse, yes. But, I mean, you have to pitch. Figuring out the math, and I'll thank Joe for this in advance, but figuring out the math on this, you've got to pitch. You're in a division with the Guardians, the Royals, the Tigers, and the Minnesota Twins. You are pitching at least 6 starts a season against both Kansas City and Detroit total. And that guy he's that guy of that staff. Lance Lynn's not going to come up and eat innings for you. And if he does, he's going to get blown up. Michael Kopech still hasn't proven his worth. Ronaldo Lopez should retire. I mean, come on.
No love for Giolito, Frank?
No, not with a 5-something ERA. Jesus. No, and I'm not talking to you, Joe.
The stance is that this is the dude in Chicago, and if they're going to do anything, this has got to be the guy.
Like every team has their guy. I mean,
he had 225 strikeouts back-to-back seasons. That's something. I'm with you.
A lot of something.
Yeah.
He walked 10 more people in 22 than he did in 21.
That's a warning sign.
Oh, warning sign, schwarning sign. Like, come on. I mean, really, like, I mean, okay, you're walking people. And I mean, he's stranding runners at a really good rate, though.
Yeah. It was like 82% of the dudes who got on base against him were stranded.
I mean, he doesn't give up the long ball. He's striking out 11 per 9, 12.3 the year prior. I mean, the kid's a stud. And he should have been in the Cy Young conversation, which he was in the American League.
He finished second last year.
Yeah.
Like we're not like he's not coming at us with somebody who just did nothing. This kid finished second in the Cy last year.
Second in the Cy Young.
We need to put some respect on his season. Now, Frank, you've made your case. Which one of you boys would like to go first?
Oh Lord, here we go.
Mike, take it away.
No, I will not trade him to you this year.
I don't want him.
I'm kidding.
I know. The walks do scare me, and yeah, he did strand a lot of runners last year, but if he starts like giving up those runs that he's putting on base, like it scares me that he does have guys on base every inning. And I can see his ERA sort of inflating after that. That being said, yeah, he's in my top 25 for a reason. But there's a trust issue there. And we talked about sort of the intangibles that we can, in splitting hairs, it's hard for us to figure out, like, why don't I like this guy, or why do I like this guy? And with Dylan Cease, there's something intangible there that I can't necessarily put my finger on, but I don't have full trust in him like I do the 24 names ahead of him. And that's really where it is for me. It's a trust issue, and it's a personal, like, intangible argument that I can't really
I can answer that question for you.
Go ahead.
It's run support. It's the DeGrom effect. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
If this team does go bad without an offense, he could end up that way.
I mean, honestly, the offense has gotten worse. They lost to Abreu. Eloy Jimenez is not going to have a good season. I will go on record and say that right now. I mean, Gavin Sheets is nobody. Tim Anderson's probably going to get hurt halfway through the season somehow, some way, or he's going to get suspended for hitting somebody or throwing a bat. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, the offense isn't that great. So you're getting the DeGrom effect out of that guy. So I understand why you would say that.
Jason, get in here. You've been so patient on this one.
DeGrom has never walked
you're the guy in the
58
middle
batters.
here.
Yeah, I have him at 16. So, like, I'm not down on him, but I'm certainly not going to rank him in the top 5. Not if he's not. If he stops walking guys, if he ceases to give up the free pass, I will move Cease up.
That's what he did. That's what he did.
But as long as he's handing out 80 walks a season, he can't be in the top 5. I'm sorry, he can't.
So let's talk about this next guy. This is also part of the Frank Bucco portion of the broadcast here. This guy clocks in at 17 and a half. Frank's got him in his top 15 as well at number 15. Mike is the highest guy on this guy. We'll get to him in a moment. Jason and I have him right at number 22 together. Spencer Strider at 11, Mike Haber. Talk to me.
Oh, yeah.
I love you, Mike Haber. That's fantastic.
Talk to us, Mike.
Okay. 131 innings, 202 strikeouts, not even a full slate of pitching. His strikeout percentage is off the charts. He has moments where he looks completely untouchable, and more moments than not. I know exactly what you guys are going to say. You're going to say Christian Javier, right? Is that going to come up?
I have them back to back. For what it's worth, I have them back to back with Javier right in front of him.
Okay. Yeah. So I have Strider at 11 and I have Javier at where?
30.
30.
I also had them back to back, but I have Strider above Javier.
About right.
Yeah.
There's just something about this kid. He's gonna get a full year in the starting rotation. His strikeout rate is electric. And
I have a question for Michael Haber, who has this guy at 11 and Christian Javier at 30.
Go ahead.
Why don't you like Christian Javier again?
Oh man,
trash cans.
No. That's the offensive guys. What was the statement you made? You wanted to see a full season as a starter as Christian Javier before you bought in. Jason, do me a quick look up real quick. How many relief appearances did Spencer Strider have last year? Because we know that the number for Christian Javier was 5. Ooh, that's 2 hands. That's 9. That's almost twice as many. Yet you're going to buy in on Spencer Strider for the full workload. As a smaller human being, he is built like Tim Lincecum.
I don't have a good argument for this.
Love you.
I don't have a rebuttal here. I like Strider. I don't like Javier. Maybe it's because I don't like the Astros. Maybe
Probably.
it's because Yeah. Maybe it's because every time I played Strider, I got fucking murdered by him. So
Frank, you've got these guys 12 picks apart, and you know Spencer Strider probably better than any of us, honestly, as the Braves fan. Talk about the boy.
Okay, first of all, the wild thing is I can't wait to see what he's going to do this year because he has changed his jersey number to 99, by the way.
That's awesome.
nice.
Which I think is fantastic. But I mean, the kid comes out, throws gas. His curveball is it's great. I mean, but that's all he needs. He throws a slider very, very, very limited amount of times. The curveball is more, you know what I mean? Like, and he just comes out there and he does freak things. No pun intended. Well, actually, it was.
It's that the fastball is that electric.
If it's coming, yeah.
It's 97 percentile in velocity. Like, he's throwing gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's hitting 100 on the radar gun a lot.
All day. All day.
And, you know, I mean, if you want to compare him to, no, never mind. I was going to say Hunter Green, but I'm not going to do that. But
no, we can't do that.
No. But like a 180 batting average against a 254 on base in 131 innings.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
And I put respect on his name by putting him in my top 25. But if we're going to have the same concerns about Christian Javier's workload versus Spencer Strider's, I'm going to go Mike Haber. You believe that Nestor Cortez is a full-time pitcher at 150 something innings. Christian Javier needs to have a full workload at 140 and something innings. But Spencer Strider, you have the largest hard on for at 130 innings. These things don't make sense. Now I get it. You don't have the intangibles, and you just like the kid because he's really, really good. Because Joe owned him last year. It's okay.
No, it has nothing to do with Joe owning him. He's just better.
Okay. And then listen.
You know what? Look, it's not apples to apples, I admit, but you look at their postseason play. Strider got blown up in his only appearance in the postseason. Christian Javier was dynamite in the postseason. Like, so that's something too. And also, look, I'm telling Strider needs to get his walks under control too. He walks 3 per 9. That's okay, but if that starts to slip at all, if he loses his control, that's going to be a problem.
Especially if he loses only.
All those games are being umpired by Angel Hernandez.
The final excuse of a man with no argument is Angel Hernandez.
That's right. That's right. I'll go there all the time.
So listen, the next guy we're going to talk about here is a guy with two of you guys have inside the top 10. And I have outside the top 30. Now, I made my argument last show with Mike Haber about why I have Shohei Ohtani at 32. I'm willing to at least listen to arguments to move him up a little bit, but I don't think I can get to where Mike has him at 16. I think I can get him to the top 25. Jason, you have him at 9 with Frank. What is it about Shohei Ohtani, pitcher only, that you have top 10?
He's electric. Like
Oogie woogie woogie.
Yeah. Like if we're talking about Spencer Strider being electric, this kid, he's electric too. And I mean, 2.33 ERA in 166, and he pitched 166 innings last year. Like they're letting him go, and he's shown that at least right now he can still do both at a high level. How long can he do it for? I don't know, but we're only projecting for the 2023 season. We're not projecting for 2026. So he made 28 starts last year, an unbelievable 11.9 K per 9, followed up by his 10.8 per 9 last year in the year before. What's not to like about him? What am I missing? Doesn't walk guys, doesn't give up hits.
I can't imagine that he's going to throw more than 166 innings this year.
So
am I insane by saying that? Because they have 6 dudes in their rotation and they have to protect him to be a hitter. They're only going to throw him once a week. So
they have
if
6
he's only
dudes
getting
trash minus him.
You still have to have 5. You have to have at least 4 more guys to eat the innings. He can't pitch every day.
Obviously.
I mean, let's not be completely ridiculous.
really, are you
He's
relying
already a
on-
video game.
Are you relying on Patrick Sandoval?
The Angels are. Somebody
Oh,
will.
okay.
That's my argument there. My point here is
Angels
that
also just sold their team.
is 25 starts of Shohei Ohtani as valuable as, again, assuming health for everyone, 30 starts of Dylan Cease, 30 starts of Zach Gallen, 30 starts of Spencer Strider?
Woo!
My answer is no, every time.
Well,
And until you can tell me that 25 starts max of Shohei Ohtani is more valuable than 30 starts of 31 other dudes I have in front of him, I don't think I can make that happen. The only
You
guy
can't-
I have in front of him that maybe I would drop below him is Glasnow.
But you can't get behind a 2.33 ERA and I mean 219 strikeouts.
Do you think that Shohei Ohtani is going to do better than a 2.33 ERA this year?
I think he'll come close.
So if his ERA
Yeah.
is okay. So you guys really
that's-
believe that this is a
maybe
sub
not.
2.5 dude?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Why
but
not?
again, does he need to be? Does he need to be? Like,
So
again,
let's say it's 3.33 then.
Okay,
Let's
that's the
live a
minimum.
full run. Let's throw a full run on it. You're still
Okay.
happy at that point with a top 10 pitcher at a 3.5 ERA.
at 3.5, probably not. But
No.
but
Go with me on this. He won 15 games last year. Do
He
you
plays
think
for
he's
the
really going to win
Angels.
more than 15 games?
Do you think the Angels are going to win more than 15 games in a season? Probably not.
That's my point.
no,
I
they're
mean,
going to be better.
really?
They're going to be better than they were last year.
All right,
Okay.
so they'll win 25
agree.
games.
I
All
agree.
right.
But the strikeouts will be the strikeouts. Like, I'm willing to concede that the strikeouts are probably real, right?
And this is what I want to say about him too, is that last show you made the argument about you'd rather take Miles Michaelis, a guy that you can pick and choose when you're going to start him, versus
Mhm.
Ohtani, who you can start with confidence against any team.
Right.
And you said to me, would you start him against Houston? The world champion Houston Astros. Last
Yes.
year against Houston, 29 2/3 innings, a 1.21 ERA, a 0.91
That's
win.
filthy. Oh, that's filthy. Oh, that's
Yeah.
gross, Mike Haber. That's a gross statistic you just threw at me. Oof. All
Sorry.
right.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
moving on up
Let's
there, Joseph.
let's start moving Shohei Ohtani on up. All right. All right. All right. I have
Hold
to open
on.
my SP rankings.
Let's give him a little more to play with.
Yeah. Let's go,
the
Frank.
two
What else do you got?
batting average against.
Mhm. Which
Let's
probably
see.
actually is comparable because he does have that nasty splitter, which does a lot of ground balls. Defense will probably be better with Gio Urshela there.
His ground ball rate is
all right.
41.9% last year.
All right.
A 0.72 ground ball to fly ball rate.
Okay, I have him directly behind Miles Michaelis. I'm willing to move him above that guy.
Yeah.
I have him behind. Is he better than Logan Gilbert?
I
Yes.
would say so.
And that means he's probably better than Tristan McKenzie, Robbie Ray, and Tyler Glasnow.
Okay, listen, a 12-year-old daughter is better than Robbie Ray. Okay, let's be realistic here.
All right.
God,
Let's
I can't even believe
all
you
right.
brought that.
That gives him 6 spots there already.
So what does he move from? What number to what number?
He was 32. This will get him to 27.
Oh my God, he's
That's
still
5
cracked top
spots.
25? Oh,
Because like Dylan Cease, Kevin Gossman, Luis Castillo, those are the next 3 dudes.
these are travesties that you have on your list.
Sorry, man. Like
I'm sorry.
I
It's
trust
just
30 starts out of those dudes.
That's
All right, let's go to the next dude because we've already moved somebody up. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Mike and Jason, you have this guy directly at the same number, and Frank and I have him considerably lower, but we also have him at the same spot. So 13 for you guys, Frank 17 and 18 for me. Alek Manoah, you guys seem to love.
Yeah.
What? Now we don't necessarily love Kevin Gossman, Mike. So what is it about Manoah you like?
I think Manoah is 1,000 times better than Kevin Gossman.
Well, okay.
I do. I think he's a workhorse already. And sure, it was his first like full season, right? But he threw almost 200 innings. And in those 200 innings had a lower ERA than pretty much any other starting pitcher. And a whip under 1, a batting average close to 200, batting average against 180 strikeouts. Like, what is there not to like about this guy who I think could be the 20 game winner this year? I think this is going to be the 20 game winner.
Ooh, that's a good one because again, we start asking the questions. It was a 2.24 ERA last year. Does he do better than that? Like, would you bet him to do better than that?
I think he'll end up somewhere in the 220 to 260 range is my guess.
Like I'm willing to go with you that his ERA probably starts with a 2, right? 16 games. If you're saying his upside's 20 games, I will go with you. My only question here is the strikeout rate is just a tick under what I would like. Jason, you're nodding your head. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. You're absolutely right. It's not there with Gosman's, but the run prevention and the innings, 200 innings, like it. If you can even come close to that again, like, I mean, that's saying Alcantara, like realm there. If he's gonna be putting up that many innings, playing for the Blue Jays, so he could. I agree with Mike 100%. He could be a 20 game winner this year. Absolutely.
He's in this little group for me. He sits at 18. I'm actually the lowest guy on him, but I do like Alek Manoah. He sits in this group of it's Logan Webb at 17, him at 18, Joe Musgrove at 19, Zach Gallen at 20. That like and Yu Darvish leads that group at 16. I feel like all of them are really safe for 180 minimum. It's just like, how do you pick them out, right? Like where do you slot them in? I feel like he's good for 180. I am shocked, however, at the next guy we have here because he's inside my top 10, and only one of you even has him in your top 15. Frank's got him outside the top 20, yet he led the league in quality starts last year. I love Framber Valdez, Jason. He is just wonderful. I have him at 8.
Wow.
Yeah. I have him at 14. Yeah, I have him at 14, and I owned him last year. He was my guy last year. He was my horse. The walks is what is the nitpicky part for me. He led the league in walks per 9 last year, like the wrong way. So like he the walks were a struggle. If he can get that under control, yeah, he shoots up this list. Absolutely.
Angel Hernandez.
His FIP and XFIP numbers definitely loved his 282 ERA. It was a 3 and a 306. His left on base rate was perfectly sustainable at 75%. The ground ball rate is so delicious. Oh my God. A 4.16 ground ball to fly ball ratio, meaning for every 1 fly ball he's giving up over 4 ground balls.
Wow.
The defense is great. Altuve and Pena up the middle. You got Bregman there. And now Jose Abreu at first base. I will take that. He doesn't strike out dudes as much again as I would like, but it's just barely under 1 an inning. I'll take it. It's the fact that he's going to be there every day on a first place team. He's going to win baseball games. He's the top guy in Houston for me this year. I love him so much more than Christian Javier.
That's Alek Manoah without the walks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
was
that
it,
is.
26 quality starts in a row last year?
He had 26 quality starts total, which led the league.
Total. Right.
Yeah. It was, I mean, you can't ask for better than that. He doesn't quite make my top tier, but he is the first dude in that second clump of dudes that we're going to eventually get to talking about here. The next guy we're going to talk about, all of us have him between 11 and 20. This is another Frank Bucco boy. Frank has him at 12. I actually have him at 11, Frank.
My boy.
It's Max Fried, guys. So I'm going to give Frank
54.
another moment here for him. What do you got for your ace?
Oh, come on. Love us some Max Fried, don't we? I mean,
I have him at 11.
yeah. I mean, 14-7, a 2.48 ERA on, a first place team that wins the NL East division. I mean, he was an all-star last year. He does not walk a lot of people.
No, he was top 5%
185
in walks per
innings,
9.
32 walks, 170 strikeouts. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I'll say that this is another guy that
but-
doesn't strike out dudes at the rate that I would really love, but much
A
like
1.01
Framber
whip,
Valdez, yeah, I feel good about him getting 180 innings again. Like, this is sort of that tier for me where I feel really safe here. There's a group of dudes that I feel really safe about right here. Valdez, Fried are two of them. We'll get to a couple of more. We haven't hit on any of them yet. Guys, I'm concerned here because, Mike, you have him at 20. What's wrong with Max Fried?
Nothing's wrong with him. He's not as electric as the guys in front of him. For me, it's the low strikeout rate. Who do you think gets more Cy Young votes in the 2023 season? Max Fried or Spencer Strider? Frank? Braves fan?
I'm going to say Max Fried.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there could be a sophomore slump involved with Strider. As much as we like him, Mr. Haber.
Yeah.
I think there could be some sophomore regression.
Okay.
So
he does have Strider 3. He's got Strider 3 spots lower, right? And I didn't say this about Strider, but being a 2-pitch pitcher like Frank was talking about, if one of those pitches are off, that just means that the guys can lock in on the other and start
Look
whacking
what happened
around
to
the
Ian
yard.
Anderson.
Exactly. That's a way this can go south, right? With Fried, I feel a little bit more confident about that. So there we have that. At the same spot, Framber Valdez and Max Fried both averaged out at 15 for us. So we are inside the top 15 here in our aggregate. We're going to move up to 13 for this one. This is another top 10 guy for me, another dude that I feel safe for 180 innings with a good ERA, good strikeout rate. You guys have him close, but for some reason, Jason Ashby has him down at 18. What's wrong with Aaron Nola?
Look, and same thing with Max Fried. These are examples for me of ignoring the numbers and making it more of a personal preference. They pitch for the Braves and the Phillies. I don't want them. Although I will admit, we will come back to a guy that doesn't fit that bill. But
right.
Yeah, look, Aaron Nola was bad in 2021. He was good in 2022. I don't have a problem where I have him. I don't think he needs to move up. I like the guys that I have above him better than him. But I don't think that 18 is a slot, is a slight. I think he's comfortable there.
Okay. So here's I think I'm the high guy on this guy, isn't he? I have him in the top 10. Yeah, I have him at 9. So listen, he went 205 innings last year, a 3.25 ERA with 235 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Do we believe that the ERA could come down? I do, because his FIP and XFIP were 3/4 of a run and half a run better. His infield defense is what sucked, right? We're going to believe that that's improved one year, right? We're going to believe that maybe these guys can actually play some semblance of defense behind him. So maybe the 11-13 record isn't exactly indicative of how good a pitcher he is, and you can see those increase. I don't love the bullpen, but we have to believe that that's probably better too, right?
It is. It should be.
And when it comes right down to individual pitching to a batter, what is the most important thing a pitcher needs to do? It's strike one. 0-1 is, for me, one of the most important things when I'm splitting hairs this small. Aaron Nola was the best guy at 0-1 pitches. First pitch strike percentage over 70% of the batters. That's success. And that's something you can point to and go, I want that, because 7 out of 10, he's getting the advantage immediately. He dictates the pace. He dictates control of his game. His defense let him down last year. The strikeouts are still real. We're gonna see he was in the top 5% walk percentage. He had a 1.27 walk per 9. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm all over this dude. Who's moving him up?
I like where I'm at. I like him at
I'll keep him where he's at.
Nothing? All right. I made my preach about Aaron Nola. Let's talk about his teammate, because his teammate weighed in at 1275. So let's talk about Zach Wheeler. Jason Ashby has him at 5.
5.
Yeah, this is the guy that I
gosh.
the bill. Yeah, he's so good. Like what?
He has a worse walk percentage. He struck out fewer batters across fewer innings last year. He won one more game. His FIP and xFIP were higher than his ERA. His FIP and xFIP were higher than Aaron Nola's. His underlying numbers are average at best. His first pitch strike percentage is quite good at 67%. I'll give him that. But it's just not as strong as Aaron Nola. So I just want to understand why you hate Nola and why you're so high on Wheeler, who was our guy, and fuck that guy. And I've got him at 12. Like, I get it. He's probably safe for 180 innings. He's going to win baseball games on a winning team.
Yeah. I think it's more of just a preference thing. Like, but I will say, like, okay, yeah, I may be a little high on him. But look, you said it to me that guys always pitch to their expectations, right? So
that's very true.
Yeah, his xERA and xFIP were are higher than the actual, but maybe he's like you said,
he certainly could be one of those guys, right? That's something you dive into and take a look at deeper. Mike Haber, let's make the case against Zach Wheeler. You seem to be rather low than the consensus. You're at 15.
Yeah, I owned Wheeler last year. There was a little bit of inconsistency there. There was definite he missed a chunk of time from injury. He didn't return the value of where I drafted him, and I think that's why he's a little lower for me this year. So again, I'm kind of supporting what Jason said on personal preference, but he just didn't return. Like, I think I drafted him in the 3rd round, and I probably could have gotten this from someone in the 5th or 6th round. He was bad against the Mets last year. I just wanted to bring that up because I just think it's really interesting.
How bad? I
mean, he didn't give up more than 8 home runs against any other team. He gave up 12 home runs to the Mets, 4.91 ERA, a 132 WHIP.
Beat that ass. Spank that ass. Thank you very much. That's all I needed to hear. Spank that ass. Frank, is that why you're so low on this guy? Is it because he's a Philly and you hate the Phillies?
I mean,
no, I echo Mike Haber's sentiments, where, like, he's the type of guy, like, you draft him high and he doesn't return the value, and he's again, it's more inconsistency for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going out there and putting up Verlander type starts. You're not going out there and putting up Cease type starts. You're not going out there putting up Burns type starts.
I've seen a few pretty nice bangers from him over the last few years. Yeah. But to your point, we haven't seen a consistent year-over-year move because of the COVID season. 21, he threw 213 innings. It was a fantastic year. You give me another one like that, or between what you did in 22 and 21, I could probably see you in the top 10. I see what you see, Jason. I get it.
Yeah. I probably do need to move him down, but I don't hate where he's at.
Okay, so here's an interesting case, right? We've got Wheeler at 5. The next guy we've got right at your number 15, Mike and I have him at 10 and 9 respectively. Shane Bieber doesn't get a whole lot of love from you this year, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. I do like him. I have him at 15. To me, he's in that same group as like Framber and Manoa. He's had some injury problem, or at least in 2021 he did. You know, I don't know. Again, he's just a guy that, like, maybe it's because he plays in Cleveland. I don't think of him all that much, but like,
I can hear that.
you know, he just kind of falls under the radar. Yeah, 200 innings last year, so he shows that that his injury problems are behind him. Let me see it again. Do it again.
One more?
And just like you at Wheeler. Yeah.
2020 side, the 22 season, he was kind of bad in 21, was he not?
He was hurt.
He was hurt.
He was
Okay,
hurt.
so yeah. Give me a full one more time, and I can respect that. I have him at 10 for what it's worth. A strikeout an inning. He's on a winning ball club. The ballpark plays to him. His FIP and xFIP numbers, but loved him, and it was almost identical. He gets a ton of whiffs. He is a strikeout machine to almost 200. So he's right there with Nola and Valdez and these other guys that we're talking about here, where we're going to get a ton of innings, a ton of strikeouts, wins on a good team. Is that where you're at with this, Mike?
Yeah, 100%. We're looking at this point when we're in our top 15. This has to be an ace, and I feel so confident with anyone from my 15 to 1 being an ace, especially with Shane Bieber. Like, it's just a trust issue, and I trust. Yeah.
That does beg an interesting question. And I'm going to ask this to all of you guys. First, I'll go back to Mike here because you started this. How many, you need one of your top how many to be your ace?
One of your top, wait, say that one more time.
So we're getting to a point here where these are the I think we feel like we're getting to a point where some might be some guys that we feel like we can get as our number one. In your rankings, there's a point, there has to be, where that guy is no longer the number one guy.
Got it.
And you were like, I'm a little iffy about him anchoring my staff. So you need one of how many to feel good about that?
So I need one from my top 17 to feel like my 17 is kind of where I draw the line.
So it's everybody from the top of the number to Max Fried Valdez for you.
Yes.
Okay. Jason, same question. One of how many are fantasy bigs aces for you?
I'm gonna go to 15. To Bieber.
Okay, so you'll go to Bieber. Frank, same question. One of how many?
12.
12. So it's Max Fried, and that's the cut.
Yep.
You guys aren't gonna like my answer.
Is it 5?
It's 1.
No, it's not 1.
One of 1.
No, it's not 1.
It's Justin Verlander. Period of the story.
It's 6.
6.
It's 6, but like,
all right,
but
guys,
if
rob
I
the
miss,
list. Rob
if
the
I
list
miss,
so we
if
can
I
take
miss
them all
on
in the
those
first round.
sixes, if I miss on those 6, then I'm probably getting 2 of the next, like, probably 30. Right? So I'm not gonna lose my head about it if I miss on the first 6. Now, let's move on here to the next guy because this is an important one. Frank, this is your 25. We talked about this guy before you came on air.
Yay!
So just wait one moment here. Just wait on this. I have this guy at 14. Mike Haber, you have this gentleman at number 5. This is Jason Ashby's number 1 pitcher. We are talking about Jacob deGrom. Mr. Ashby, the floor is yours.
Look, when he's healthy, he is still the best pitcher on the planet. 100%. You can't argue. When he takes that mound, he is as filthy as it gets. The numbers are incredible. I totally 100% agree. He needs to be on the mound. Right now, yes, he's battling some side soreness, whatever. Going into the season, I can't say that he's not going to be healthy. I don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. So I'm going on the assumption that he's going to pitch. And when he pitches, he is the best pitcher in baseball, hands down.
Bar none. And that's not an argument. That is absolutely not an argument. Like, when he's on the mound, he is the best in the game. I don't think anybody that is sitting here that has him, even at 25, will say that when he's on the mound, he's the best in the game. The problem is, and we will go ahead and read the numbers, is that he has thrown 64 and a third, 92, and 68 innings, respectively, each of the last 3 seasons, including 2020. The last time he threw more than that was 204, all the way back in the juiced ball era of 2019. Now, this is the question we all have to ask ourselves: is how much are you going to say that Jacob deGrom gets hurt? Jason believes that we are going to see a 200 inning season again, and thus has ranked him at number 1. And if that is the fact, then you're going to look great. If you own deGrom, you don't have to draft him as the first pitcher overall to get him. But if you believe that, then you wait and you get him.
Yeah.
That's why I have him at 14, because I'm just sort of like, I need spring. Mike, you have him at 5.
Yeah, I have to echo what Jason said. He's hands down the best pitcher in baseball. And I don't need 180 innings from him. I'd be okay with 150 to 160 innings of Jacob deGrom-esque baseball, and that's what I'd be looking for at 5. If he were to do it for 200 innings, then yeah, he would be my number 1 overall. But I think what it comes down to for the 4 of us is risk assessment, right? Like, we all have different levels of where we think he's at risk for getting hurt again. And Frank clearly thinks that out of the 4 of us, Jacob deGrom is most likely to get hurt, the highest risk. Jason, you believe a full season of health. So I think Joe and I guess we sort of fall somewhere in between that.
I'm willing to go. He throws 110 innings total.
If I can make the same argument that you've made for Tyler Glasnow, and I get it, it's a little bit different because the money is different.
Yes.
But Jacob deGrom has a whole lot of pressure, and the Rangers have a whole lot of pressure on them to make good on this, especially this first year after deGrom left and said, "You want to go play for a winner?"
I disagree completely. I disagree completely that they need to pay it off this year. I disagree completely that they need to pay it off this year.
He needs to put his words into action, and he's going to pitch. He's going to pitch.
I believe that you're going to see him on the mound. People are going to need to go there, and they're going to have to sell tickets. So, like, I believe he's going to be on the mound. That's why I'm giving him 100 innings, like maybe 120 tops. But I'm not of the belief that he needs to pay this off immediately. I'm not of the belief that the Rangers need to pay this off immediately, because this could be a move for 2 years from now when you see Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter in this rotation with him, rather than Andrew Heaney and Nate Eovaldi and any of these other clowns that they picked up. You do not pay him that much money and expect an immediate return. He is going to be good and draw tickets, but you do not expect a full workload in the first year. When you expect a full workload is when he's no longer the dude that you need to point to every day and go, we need you to be 150 innings as the 2 behind the kid who exploded at 37, and to show these kids how to win baseball games. I'm not out. I recognize that if he's healthy the whole year, awesome. You're going to get you could get the AL Cy. Go ahead. Get that AL Cy. Go get your guy is what I'm saying. I'm nervous about it. Frank sounds like he's out completely. Is that right, Frank?
That is 100% true.
Great.
I say this: show me that you can pitch more than like 2 months out of a season, and I'll believe it. And you're right, Joe. He doesn't have to prove the contract now. You have to prove that you can stay on the damn field, period. Like, you signed a contract to go play in Texas, great. Okay, Prove that you,
You
can
had to-
actually
you-
stay on the field.
And you had to think these two kids that they have in the minors are part of the reason that he went there. He's not
mean-
standing next to Greg Maddux talking about a fucking fastball. I'm sorry.
No,
he's not.
because Greg Maddux is going to pitch more innings than he will this year.
That's a dangerous statement.
I said
Let's
that
move
to you
off.
earlier.
Let's move off into Grom because at this point we're going to go
Yeah,
round and round.
25 is where he stays, and he's lucky
Okay.
he got there.
I just thought it was incredibly ridiculous that Jason at 1, Frank at 25, and Mike and I somewhere in the middle. That was so awesome. The next guy we're a little bit closer on. However, Frank, you really like this guy and have him at 6. And Mike Haber, you have him at 18 as the Yankee fan. Is it because of the Yankees that you don't like Carlos Rodon?
Yeah, I think it's just he's gonna get hurt because he's on the Yankees. That's honestly like the truth
What a
why
shame.
he's ranked so low.
I have him at 13, which I think is an incredibly fair ranking. You know, the back-to-back 200 inning seasons. But Jason, you're more with Frank at 7. Where are you at? Like, you like this guy a lot.
Yeah, he's shown that he's healthy now. He's going to a winning ball club. The strikeout rate is incredible. He struck out 12 per 9 last year to lead everybody. Followed by 12.6 the year before. Like he's nasty. Yeah, if he's healthy, he's as good as they get.
I worry less about him as a left-hander in Yankee Stadium than I would any other pitcher in Yankee Stadium because the right-handers hitting the ball out to left field is a lot further than a left-hander going to the porch. And he only gave up, I think it was like 2 home runs to lefties last year, which is an incredibly ridiculous stat that I stumbled upon at one point. So, like, if you're going to tell me now all of a sudden that balloons to 5, okay, whatever. No, I like the dude. I think he would be a fine, solid number 2. And I have him at 13. So
He in his career, he has made 4 starts at Yankee Stadium. He's 3-0 with a 2.16 ERA.
Nice.
So
That's yeah, that's a nice little month he put together there.
Right. Well, so spread that over.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think he'll be fine.
I hope you guys are right.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be bad. I just have 12 dudes I like more. Like not this guy. I have him at 15, but I'm really low on this guy. 7 for Frank, 8 for Mike, and 11 for Jason for Brandon Woodruff. Jason, let's start with you. You've got him right at 11. He didn't crack the top 10.
Not quite. Again, he could have. It's splitting hairs here for me. I don't love the Brewers. I don't think that they're going to be very good. Their offense doesn't do anything for me. So, I have Ohtani higher than him because I think the Angels are going to be better. I do. But that's not to say that I wouldn't. I'd be fine having Woodruff as my number 1. I just, he's just not.
Can I make the case that Aaron Nola needs to go over him? Mike Haber, you have got Brandon Woodruff at 8. That's awful high. You're not scared of a Brewers sort of recession, for lack of a better term?
Recession. I don't love the Brewers. I look at his 3.05 ERA from last year, and if April and May are eliminated, his ERA is incredible. So clearly he just got off to a rough start of the year, and after that completely settled down, fell back into that strikeout pattern that he was in. His September was lethal.
His June was 1 start, so that was where the injury happened.
Yeah.
And so if you're willing to tell me that April and May he was working his way through an injury, and June he finally said, "All right, I'm not going to make it through this thing. Let me take some time and get well." And the final 4 months, or the final 3 months, July, August, and September, is what we're really going to expect from this dude. I can live with that. I do and am concerned about that team not providing run support, and they just continue to chip away at what was a really nice bullpen, and now it's like not as good. So I've got him at 15. I'm respecting him. I do like the strikeout total, but again, I need you to be healthy. He's at the very back end of this chunk that we've been talking about that started with Framber Valdez and it ends with him. And DeGrom, Rodon, Wheeler, Fried, Bieber, Nola, they're all in this. So take them all at the same sort of level. I love them as twos, as my number two.
If Woodruff can if I can guarantee you 180 innings from Woodruff, can
I bump him above? Can I bump him above DeGrom
or
yes.
any of the guys above?
Yes.
Or Wheeler? Like, yeah. I mean, he threw 150 last year. I would need 180. He's at the back end of the dudes I feel comfortable with 180, right? And even DeGrom's in that because, again, 130 of him is probably equivalent.
Yeah.
All of that is to say that we are now cracking our aggregate top 10, boys.
Woo!
So this
a
is
wild
the
over-under prop bet for all of you.
okay.
Jacob
you got,
DeGrom
Frank?
pitches more than 11.1 innings like Tyler Glasnow did last year.
I'll take the
Over
over
under. I'm
immediately.
going to take the under at like 0.
I'll take the over in April.
You think he's going to get hurt in spring
I think
and
so.
be out the whole
He's
year?
already hurt.
Watch
Let alone get hurt
this be
in
a
spring.
thing.
He's
Watch
already
this
hurt.
be a thing and Frank be right. Watch this thing be a thing. Watch
Thanks
this
for
all
putting
of a
that-
sudden be a thing, right? Like, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go to number 8 in our aggregate. There's a chunk here that is very obviously the guys that we all like. And there's nobody inside of the top 10 and we start at 8. So 8 is the number. I have him at 6. Jason has him at 6. No, I'm sorry. Jason, you have him 12. Mike, you have him at 6, and Frank at 8. It's Shane McClanahan. So, Jason, are you concerned about the innings total? Is that why he doesn't make the top 10 for you?
Yeah, just again, it's the raise factor. I know he pitched 166 innings last year, which is great. So he very well could just keep going. There's just always the chance that they try to get cute and figure something, do something wonky. So I like him. He faded towards the end of the season, so that's a concern, especially with those innings. So, again, I don't feel like I'm disrespecting him. I don't know if I can put him above these other guys that I have.
Yeah, we're splitting hairs at this point. Like, we all know that these guys are really good. It's just a personal preference and what case you can make. For me,
Yeah.
I love this guy, and he's a top 6 guy. I just told you guys that I have 6 dudes that I feel confident is my number 1. That would therefore mean that Shane McClanahan is one of them. The guy is filthy. And somebody has to eat innings at Tampa. Like, we all just can't believe that they're all going to throw 130 innings and the bullpen's going to do this. Like, they can't do this every year. Eventually, somebody's got to step forward. And Shane did that with 166 last year. I have every confidence he's 185 or more this year. He is the ace of this team, the way David Price was, the way Scott Kazmir was, the way James Shields was. This is that next guy for like the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, if you believe that, then I'll tell you that the strikeout rate will be ridiculous. He's probably a lock for 200 strikeouts if you give me 180 innings. And his ERA is going to be filthy. He pitches for a first place or a competitive team. I can't say first place anymore because they don't really have that kind of team anymore. But they are a competitive, win more baseball games than they lose team.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Do
Guy.
you think of the possibility, though,
Mhm.
that the reason he pitched as many innings as he did was because he was pressed to without Glasnow and Baz in that rotation?
Well, you're not going to see Baz this year either because
No, I
he's
know
still
that.
out for Tommy John. But here's what I will say. Last
And
year they had
Kluber,
Corey.
who's 95. I mean,
That's exactly what I'm saying here is that they had Corey Kluber and Ryan Yarborough and some of those other old dudes to eat up
Trash.
innings while they waited and built the strength of guys like this. And Glasnow got healthy. And here comes Drew Rasmussen that they've stretched out. Here's Springs that they've stretched out. Oh, look, here's a
Jeffrey
random
Springs.
Zach Eflin that we can fix. Like,
ugh.
some of these dudes are going to pitch 150 innings or more. They have to at this point because if you're not going to do that, well, then you're just continuing this long line of slew of dudes that you're going to churn through your bullpen on. And with the new rules being what they are, it behooves you to have a rookie up for the entire year rather than bounce them around like they have. They would have to stick to one guy all year. I don't know off the top of my head who that is this year. It might end up being Curtis Mead, but we'll see. Regardless, I like McClanahan as the ace of a staff. Mike, you with me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Having him at 6th, I'm with you 100%.
All right. Let's move on to the next guy. Okay. We've got this. All four of us have this guy in the top 10. However, this is my number 2. This is my number 2 dude. Mike and Frank have him at 10, and Jason, you're up the middle with him at 6. Julio Urias. Who wants to take the floor on him before I tell you why?
I will.
All right, Frank, tell me about Julio Urias.
Julio Urias. I mean, he has the potential to. I mean, obviously, you might as well call him the ace of that staff. Kershaw's again another 95-year-old pitcher who's going to throw 130 innings with a phantom injury that's going to come somewhere in the middle of the season. Tony Gonsolin is going to regress. There's no Walker Buehler.
So it's this guy or bust.
So yeah, exactly. And he plays for the Dodgers. I mean, they are a winning team. They've won the West several years in a row. I mean, they're not going to be bad. He's going to get run support. His stuff isn't like electric, but it's good enough.
Oh, no, yeah, it is. He's really good, dude. He's won 37 games in the last 2 years.
Okay.
That's why he's
plays
number
for
2
the Dodgers.
Here. Exactly. You're making my point for me. He plays on the best team in baseball. No, it is, though. He's really, really good. He has a sub-1 whip that Mike Haber loves to throw around. He has about a strikeout an inning. It's 166 across 175 last year, but it was 195 across 185 and 21. Let's just call it a strikeout an inning.
Yeah.
He pitches for the best team in baseball. They have nobody else to eat innings that is really reliable other than this dude.
By the way,
I'm not saying he's
only 26 years old. He's only 26.
Yeah, he's young.
He hasn't even touched the surface yet.
2. There is one person I want more than him. 2.
Giving up 23 home runs though.
It's a lot.
Second pitcher overall. I think I don't know. That scares me. Like he is a top 10.
I want you to put a pin. I want you to put a pin in that.
Okay.
I want you to put a pin in that.
Okay.
Because we're gonna move to the next guy. He falls at 6.5. Frank asked me to put this guy on his list of guys that he wanted to talk about. So Frank, you've got him outside your top 10 at 11. And Mike, you have him at number 10. And I'm not really surprised knowing what we I'm sorry, am I saying that? No, Jason has him just at 10.
Oh, okay.
Mike, you've got him at 4. Before I say any further, Frank, go ahead and tell me what you think about Garrett Cole.
He's the epitome of inconsistency. And I go with a theme. I mean, he went 13-8 last year, a 3.50 ERA from a guy who, I mean, was dominant in 18, 19. I mean, well, if you count 2020. I mean, he won 20 games in 2019 with a juiced ball. I mean, so that's got to tell you something. And then, his first full season in New York, he's pitching to a 3.23 ERA. Then it jumps up to a 3.50. He only won 13 games. The Yankees aren't a bad team. Yes, he pitched 200 innings, and had 257 strikeouts. But you're not winning ball games when your team is supposed to be. When your team is that good, when your team has the AL MVP on it, you're going out there and you're getting fucking rocked by Boston. Boston owns this guy. Period. End of story. And
Rafi Devers, yeah.
Rafi Devers owns him. Like, I mean, if I'm Aaron Boone, I go, listen, we're skipping your starts in Boston or against Boston because it's just not a thing.
Oh, you're not. You're not.
No, I know you're not, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? If you could do that, he would. He should. But
Frank's making all my points for me right before I'm about to tell you guys.
Yeah.
This is number one.
ugh,
This is number one.
he's number one for you.
Let's put some fucking respect on Garrett Cole.
Nope.
There was not that long ago that all of what Frank just said was accurate. That he was the best, most dominant pitcher in baseball. We saw 325 strikeouts in 2019. He was unbelievable. Yeah, Spider Tack got taken away and he took a step back. But he is still the most. I'm sorry, Frank. You said he's the inconsistent dude. This dude is the model of consistency. I know I'm going to get an ERA somewhere between 3 and 3.25. It's not as great as some of the dudes below him, but I am not getting a strikeout total like that anywhere. And 200 innings is about the floor of what he's going to do every year. Okay, 181 and 21. But you know you're getting this. Do you really think that he's only going to win 13 games this year? I tend to believe that because those are circumstantial and we're looking at a season where he just had a down year, I'm willing to buy it that he's going to have a Cy Young caliber year this year. Put Garrett Cole number one for me. You're welcome, Mike Haber. Join me on the bandwagon now, you silly goose.
That's disgusting.
All I want to say is, and I'm gonna echo what I just said. You told me to put a pin in it. Again, 33 home runs given up.
Led the league last year.
Led the league.
Do you really think that's gonna happen again?
I don't think he'll lead the league again, but he's got to figure out how to get that down. He has to.
Yes. And we talked earlier about Carlos Rodon, how I was like, I'm not as concerned about lefties in Yankee Stadium as I am as righties in Yankee Stadium. I am just betting on the talent here. I am betting that this dude had a down year in a disappointing Yankee season, and this fan base is fucking pissed. They're ready for a championship, and this dude needs to drop dick because he signed a contract 3 years ago that he hasn't really paid off yet, has he, Mike Haber?
No.
It's now or never for this dude, because here come the dudes behind him. You've got some horses coming. This is the time to do it. 200 innings, 250 plus strikeouts, 17 plus wins, and an ERA sub 3. Make it happen. Go get your fucking Cy that you still haven't won and put the Yankees on your back. Prove it in this market.
The more innings he pitches, the more home runs he gives up.
Potentially. Or figure out how to not do
that. In 2019, it's the same idea. 12 innings, 29 home runs.
He has had a home
without
run
a
problem.
juice ball, he gives up more home runs in less innings.
Right. The Spider Tack went away too. I'm also explaining for that. I am betting on the talent that we have seen with the Spider Tack, figuring out how to make this shit work after 2 years now. He has to do it. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm going to be right, but this seems to be like when he needs to drop dick. He needs to be the guy in New York, because the Yankees have been looking at the Astros for how many years, Mike Haber?
Too many.
Too many. At some point, he needs to say, hey, I left you guys for a reason, because he has not been able to get them over the hump. This is the year to put up or shut up, and I'm willing to buy it. I'm willing to buy it on the slump, because I don't have to make him the first pitcher selected off the board for him to be my number one.
The official hashtag of the show should be #DropDick.
Drop dick. We're going to move on to somebody else who needs to drop dick this year. Hey, listen, we got 2 guys in the top 5 with this next guy. Jason and Frank love this guy. Mike Haber and I, we are sitting at 7 for me and Jason. We're the lowest ones, and he's a Met. Mike and Frank have him in the top 5 guys. Max Scherzer. Jason, I will start with you here.
I have him at 4.
You're the one at 4. I need to move these names down.
Yeah, I have him at 4. I love my Max Scherzer.
All right, so Max Scherzer at 4 for you, Mike. Then you're with me on the low side with 7. So I know why I don't particularly care for Scherzer, and it's kind of along the same lines that you are about Yankees pitchers, right? So that's where I'm at. What about you?
I'm just nervous for the regression and the age kicking. I'm nervous for it with him more than I am with other pitchers. Why? I'm not entirely sure. He's proven to be so durable, but he has so many innings on that arm that I'm just worried about it. And he didn't get to what he usually gets to last year. He only pitched 145 innings, and
Yes,
He was hurt.
he was hurt, but you know,
that's my concern.
But his hurt was not the arm; it was his oblique. So yes, he got lots of mileage on the arm, but he hasn't hit the IL because of an arm injury. So that to me lessens the concern a little bit.
I agree. And look, I have him at 7. Like, he's not low at all. Like,
No,
Yeah.
I think, and again, I said 6, and I have Scherzer sort of in this weird spot where he's the 7th guy. He's just outside of that guys that I trust. And then it's 8 through like 12 we were talking about with the dudes I feel safe as a number 2. So he's like a 1.5 for me. Like, I feel like he could anchor a staff, but I wouldn't feel unbelievably great about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're inside the nitty gritty, dudes. 3 to go here. 4.5 is the aggregate number. Jason, you've got this guy almost down at 10 at 8, but the rest of us have him inside the top 5. What's up with Sandy Alcantara, man?
It's the Marlins. To me, like put him on the Dodgers, put him on the on winning ball club, and he moves up. But I mean, don't get me wrong, the innings and everything he's great. But all these guys that have above him are on winning ball clubs. That's the splitting hair for me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the DeGrom syndrome that Frank was talking about earlier, just with the Marlins, right? I have them at 5. Frank and Mike have them inside the top 3. So, Frank, you've actually got them at 2. So, what's the love here from Alcantara?
Again, I'll echo what Jason said, and the innings, the consistency, it's a guy that wants to go out there and take the ball for 7, 8, 9 innings, because realistically, you don't believe in any of the bullpen that happens to be in that Marlins organization. So that guy's going out there going, well, hell, I'm going to go out there and pitch 8 or 9 if I have to, because I don't believe in the guys behind me.
Is that it, Mike? You're nodding your head a lot here. I'm thinking this might be your argument as well.
Yeah, I mean, what opposing teams are fearing Dylan Floro coming in to
right, or Cole Sulcer, or Anthony Bass, or whoever.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not.
He did put up 14 wins on a bad Marlins team. So, like,
He
puts himself in position to win because of the same thing Frank's talking about here, where he goes deeper into games than literally anybody else. He had the second most quality starts as any pitcher in baseball. I talked about Framber Valdez. He had 24, so it's only 2 fewer than anybody else. The ERA indicators said that he probably was more like a 3 ERA pitcher than normal, but listen, the strikeout totals will be there because he continues to go into games. He's as safe as you can get. Again, I have got him at 5. He's one of my top 5. I just
call me crazy, but new manager in Miami, does Schumacher have a different view of what he can do versus what Don Mattingly thought he can do? I don't know. That's again, it's something to consider. And the strikeout rate was kind of low for me, so that's also why I kind of knocked him down a little bit.
All right. So we have talked about my number 1. We have talked about Jason's number 1. Mike Haber, it is time for your number 1, as he is the rest of ours number 3. Justin Verlander as number 1 at starting pitcher. Mike Haber, go ahead.
He was different than any other pitcher last year. There was something that he brought, maybe a competitive edge that he brought, that he wanted to prove himself coming back from this injury, and prove that the Astros were not just a cheating fluke, and prove that his age is just a number. And all he did last year was prove. He proved, and he succeeded. And this is the Tom Brady of baseball. This is the guy that is going to continue
Very good comparison.
continue to thrive and succeed regardless of his age. And he didn't go to a bad spot. He went to a great spot. He went to a team that is probably going to be a contender.
He went to a better ballpark at the bare minimum.
a better ballpark.
Yeah.
You know, you're pitching against the Nationals and the Marlins and some of these other bottom tier teams, like
The Braves.
Okay. His opponent did not matter.
Wow.
Did not matter.
What the fuck?
Oh
In
my
context,
goodness.
I sure as hell hope so.
It took you a second, Frank.
Sorry.
Frank,
Sorry.
your number one is the final guy we're going to talk about this evening. It is Corbin Burns. It's the only other guy we've got on this list. He is our aggregate number one, as he is Mike and Jason's number two. So we've talked about who their number ones are. I have him at 4. Again, he's behind Verlander, Urias, and Cole. Why? Those 3 teams are better than the Brewers. That's just it. That's just how I split the hairs there. And 5 is Alcantara. The Marlins are worse than those guys. Right? Like
Okay.
that's what I did there.
Okay.
So why is Corbin Burns your number one? Is it because he won you a sign, you love him so deeply?
Not only that, but I mean, you have a guy who, I mean, you have a guy that goes out there again. You know, you made the point for me, so I don't
Mhm.
really have to, put it out there. But you have a guy who plays on a bad team.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, they haven't been really good for, he only won 11 games in 21. He won 12 games last year. He kind of fell off the rails at the end of the season. Like, he lost gas. I'll give him
Mhm.
that, which hurt my playoff chances. Thank you. But
Yep.
he still, I mean, he still started 33 games last year. He pitched
Mhm.
202 innings, 243 strikeouts. I mean, he gave up less home runs than Garrett Cole at number 1.
Obvious.
Yeah.
But not by much. His homer to fly ball rate was
I don't wanna hear it.
14.1. That's not great.
I don't want to hear it.
He actually did regress from 21 to 22. Like if you look at those numbers, he actually got worse year over
Mhm.
year.
His ERA
got
got worse, but I mean,
his
eh,
strikeout rate.
It's not to
His
say he
whip.
can't improve back this year. Like if he bounces
Right.
back this year.
No.
But what I will say is if he ends up somewhere in the middle, he can certainly be number one in any context.
I mean, there's 16 of us. He could be
Mhm.
he's going to be number 1 on somebody's roster.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I
He'll probably be
mean,
the first pitcher.
I hope it's mine. I
He
mean,
could be the first pitcher taken for all we know. I mean,
that's very
he will.
true. He was
Mhm.
last
If there's
year,
a
wasn't
pitcher
he?
taken in the first round, it's gonna be him.
I think the
Right.
first pitcher taken was Cole last year in the middle, and then Jason took Bueller, and Frank, you took Burns at the back end.
Yeah, at the back end of the draft.
Yeah.
But that's
No.
what I'm saying. Like, you have a guy that's going to go out there. He's not, he gets fired up, even though he knows he plays on a bad team. He goes out there, he fires up. He's nasty.
What's his contract situation? That's what I want to know. I just want to know how long he's going to have to sit in Milwaukee without them having an offensive, or bullpen. Like, how long?
He's 2025. He'll be a free agent.
Oh, so yeah, he's building towards his free agency year. Yeah, man. If he just maintains where he's been, he could be number one.
By the way, there is animosity building between him and the Brewers with the whole arbitration thing.
Yep.
Watch him get
So,
traded. Watch
yeah.
him get traded. That would be
Yeah.
insane.
All
Boys,
right.
we did it. We did it. Episode 60's in the books. Woo!
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Frank, thank you so much for being here tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It was a blast.
Absolutely.
And now
Jason.
I love all of you.
Ooh. All right.
Now I
He
love
loves
all
me again. He loves me again. I feel fulfilled. I feel
Yeah.
fulfilled.
Not as
Jason,
much
do
as
you
Mike
still
and
love me,
Jason.
man?
I love all you guys. I
Yeah.
love talking baseball. This was a blast.
Mike Haber, thank you so much for this evening, my friend.
Yeah, this was awesome. I love that it was 4 of us for this too. It was so much fun.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know we probably ran way past time, but you know what? This was the show we were looking forward to. This is one of the great ones of the preseason. Episode 60 in the books. Go ahead and follow us on the streaming platform you may be listening to, or if you're watching us right here on YouTube, go ahead and click that button down over there or wherever, and subscribe to us. Ring the bell so that you know every time we upload new content. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. These guys are also available on social media. Not going to post all that stuff. Whatever. Until next time, guys, it has been real. It has been fun. And we
Real
are
quick,
just
Joe.
he cut off my
Sorry,
shit.
I cut you off.
He cut off
I'm
my
sorry.
shit.
I'm sorry. But what I
dropped
want
it.
to say is whoever's watching this, listening to this on whatever platforms, if your pitcher did not make the top 25, it's because Angel Hernandez was umpire. Go ahead.
Not worth it. Not worth it, Frank.
It was. I thought it was.
Man, it is always real fun in the bigs. That's for damn sure. Until next time, guys, we will see you then. Love you guys. Until next time.